Did you see this? Late last year, the FBI, I'm not making this up, issued an alert that Russian trolls are actively trying to further polarize Americans. Russian internet agents are posing as Americans, trying to get Americans to hate and attack each other by posting outrageous stories. This sounds like some conspiracy theory, but this is true. According to the FBI, foreign enemies of our country, bad actors, are on Facebook, Twitter, all the socials, trying to add fuel to the most divisive political and cultural issues of our day. Now, as you'd expect, they're posting provocative content about politics, but also from time to time, they post provocative content about movies, about sports, criticizing popular figures, and so on, to get arguments going. Why in the world would the Russians waste their time trying to do that? Well, they're trying to divide and conquer, to turn us against each other, to weaken our country. Now, if Russians, according to the FBI, are trying that against the country, certainly Satan would be trying the exact same tactic against the church. Good morning, Renee here. We've been looking at a lot of one another verses in this series about things that are good to do. Well, here's a one another verse about something that is not good to do, Galatians 5:15. But if you are always biting and devouring one another, watch out. Beware of destroying one another. We talked about this a little bit last weekend when we looked at anger and the influence of the internet on our anger. What I'm seeing on the rise all around us is this sense of I am right on everything and everybody else is completely wrong. And if you don't agree with me on all of my bullet points, then I have a right to slander you, cancel you, attack you, because you're wrong. Well, here Paul says no. And his reasoning is interesting. He's saying if you're always angry and aggressive and trying to undermine others, you yourself will be destroyed. The church you're in, the family you're in, the country you're in will be destroyed by the backbiting and the resulting division. I mean, look, any group made up of human beings is eventually going to fall into conflict, right? And what will happen is when there's conflict, when other people don't agree with our positions, our ideas, our opinions, if we're not walking with the Spirit, we're going to charge over them. We're going to trample on them. We're going to want to win, and we're going to fight them. And that will lead to the destruction of the entire group. That's what Paul is saying in that verse. That's what our enemies are trying to do to our country. That's what our enemy, capital E, is trying to do to our church. So resist. Be part of the resistance. Resist provocation. Be as unprovocable as possible. How do you do that? Focus on Jesus and focus on loving your neighbor. As Paul says, instead of biting and devouring one another, serve one another in love. Make that your goal today. A quick reminder, send me your relationship questions. You will be kept anonymous. Send them to renee@tlc.org, and we're going to answer them next weekend.